Well, thank you all for being here today. I want to welcome you to one of the most beautiful campuses in the world and to the College Conservatory of Music, which is one of the crown jewels of not only this university, but of the city and the nation and beyond. My name is Bill Mulvihill, and I am very proudly Cincinnati. I'm a 1970 graduate of the Linder College of Business and campaign director, and we're glad that you're with us today. And when I say proudly Cincinnati, I think I've been blessed to be at the university for a number of years and sharing so many wonderful memories and wonderful activities. In fact, today, I showed this to Santa. It's the only time I've ever worn this ring. This is from when we went to the Final Four in 1992, and I thought that was, what could get better than that? Well, I can tell you today is much better than that. What this university has accomplished is truly remarkable. I'd like to welcome all of you again and remind you that we are streaming this for people who aren't able to be with us today. So hopefully we have a number of people out there in virtual land who will be enjoying this news today. The news I'm referring to is not that the Proudly Cincinnati is concluded. It most assuredly is not, but it's my pleasure to introduce the 28th president of the university who's going to tell us what the news is about. Please welcome President Santa Ono.
Thank you very much and good morning. Thank you, Bill. I want one of those Final Four rings. Not that one, I promise. A new one. Like Bill, I am proudly Cincinnati. About 7.5 years ago, this great university launched the most ambitious fundraising campaign in the long and storied history of this university that is actually approaching its bicentennial. The Proudly Cincinnati campaign set a $1 billion goal, announcing to the world UC's place among the most prestigious universities in the world. Beyond the dollar figure, this campaign was about building on the university's evolving mission and academic vision. Following a physical transformation, it has been mostly about our academic programs and support for faculty and students. The support of our donors, faculty, and staff over the 7.5 years has been extraordinary, in the middle of which there was actually an economic slump in this great country, which really accentuates the accomplishments of this campaign. We are grateful for the belief of this entire community in Bearcat Nation around the world in the University of Cincinnati. Today, it is my honor and privilege to make a special announcement. I'd like to share it with you and Bearcat Nation as a whole, both here in Cincinnati, but also around the world, virtually. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Proudly Cincinnati campaign has officially surpassed its goal of $1 billion. If you don't mind, I actually like to tweet, and this is such a beautiful site. Can I get a picture on my phone so I can actually tweet it to the followers? I'll stand here with Bearcat. Thank you very much. Technological problems. Let's see. Oh, here we go. And then just add the photo. Choose from the library. There's the picture. Click on the picture. Pardon me, guys. All right. Done. Press send. Are you ready? Here you go. I'll try it again in a second. Anyway, I have that photo, and I want to tell the whole world about this great news. What makes this even better is that we've hit the $1 billion mark 4 months before the end of the campaign. Isn't that incredible? And on top of that, that places us among only 1% of public universities in this country in having achieved and raised $1 billion or more in a campaign. This is very, very good company, to be sure, a company in which we should feel right at home because we are one of the great state universities of this country. There are only 24 universities that have ever raised $1 billion, and I'm incredibly proud of this entire community for coming together in support of this great institution. It is really a remarkable achievement, and today is a day of celebration, and we're going to be celebrating from now until the evening and maybe even into the early wee hours of the morning, knowing this community. Today is an opportunity for me to say thank you to the tens of thousands of people in this city, but also around the world, in many of the great cities of this nation that have made this possible. But we also remember that today does not mark the end of our fundraising endeavors. Our campaign continues until July. And to that end, we have themed today, Proudly Cincinnati, $1 billion and beyond. We have ambitious goals for this university in every endeavor that we are engaged in, and the support from this community will ensure that we continue with our upward trajectory into our third century. This is our way of saying that we cannot overstate the importance and gratitude we have for the support, for the philanthropy, to the success of this university, to any university really, but especially to our students, such as those behind me, who are, after all, the reason that we are here. In all, nearly 92,000 different people have contributed to the Proudly Cincinnati campaign, and our goal is between now and July to increase that number to 100,000 donors. In the past few months alone, we have added 4,300 donors who have supported this great institution, and that's something to celebrate. While we are here today to celebrate the achievement of this remarkable goal, we do not simply want to celebrate a fundraising goal. Today we want to celebrate what these resources make possible. The transformation of the lives of the faculty, students, and staff of this institution, because it also makes possible the American dream. And it also makes possible the dreams, individual dreams of every student and faculty member that chooses the University of Cincinnati as its place to study or to carry out scholarship. The support of this $1 billion campaign makes possible an experiential learning program that is at the vanguard of higher education. It funds cutting-edge research that has made the University of Cincinnati a place that has cured diseases and saved the lives of millions of people every year. It is the resources that have been contributed to this campaign that permit many of our students to study abroad in multiple countries during their stay at the institution, and to have a chance to make a dream education real for students for whom college would otherwise be out of reach. Yesterday at the Board of Trustees meeting, we were very, very touched with a presentation from Judy Mousy, the head of the Generation 1 theme house, and also students within that house. And you can really see the impact of the support of the institution when you hear it directly from the students. It's those things made possible by the generosity of many of you around the world that have made the University of Cincinnati truly the hashtag hottest college in America. So thank you to our students for inspiring our work every day, and to all of you for being here today to help us mark this amazing milestone in the history of the University of Cincinnati. I couldn't be more proud than I am today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, President Ono. Santa always does a great job. Thank you very much. It's now my pleasure to introduce the Chairman of the UC Board of Trustees. But before I do that, I see a number of past Board of Trustee chairs here, and I'd like them to stand, at least be recognized. I see Stan Chesley, who's the former chair of the Board of Trustees, Sandy Hyman's in the back, and present, right? We'll get Ben Getler was supposed to be here, but I don't see Ben here yet. He'll be here for dinner. We thank you for your leadership. None of this would have happened without the historic leadership that we've had at the university. But again, it's my pleasure to introduce the current chairman of the board, C. Francis Barrett. Mr. Barrett is a 1971 graduate of the UC College of Law. Fran?
Thank you, Bill. I am Fran Barrett, and I have never been more proudly Cincinnati. I would like to thank everybody who's made this possible, Dr. Ono especially, the trustees of our foundation. Foundation is the bedrock of this university. Private support is so important for us to achieve these noble goals. I'd also like to recognize some of my fellow trustees who are here today, because the Board of Trustees is 100% behind this campaign, and we look upon this as really the beginning of much more fundraising. I'd like to ask them to stand up. Tom Humes, where's Tom? There he is, Tom, our Vice Chair. Rob Richardson, Board Secretary. Stan Chesley. Wim Portman, I believe, is here also. There's Wim. Thank you all for being here. Our board is so supportive of all of your efforts. The Proudly Cincinnati campaign has resulted in so many wonderful things. Just to name a few, the Lindner Center of Hope, the Engineering Alumni Learning Center, the Gehring Center, the Henry R. Winkler Center for the History of the Health Professions, the Shakely Athletic Center, the Gardner Center for Parkinson's Disease, and these are such wonderful, wonderful assets to our university. We think we have many more to come. I'd also like to recognize our co-chairs. I know they're going to be speaking, but having Otto Buddick and Buck Niehoff is what gave this campaign credibility. These two gentlemen are so invested in the charitable and cultural history of the city of Cincinnati that having them involved gave us credibility, and we've now become, the University of Cincinnati has now become one of those charities in Cincinnati that people want to give to and want to be part of. The outpouring of support has been unbelievable. So we're looking forward to many, many years of fundraising from the private sector in the future, and can't thank you enough. And I want you to know that you always will always have the support of the Board of Trustees. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fran. You might look both to my left and right. You'll see some screens that are listing or scrolling a group of tweets that Mr. Buddy's going to explain what a tweet is when he gets. No, actually, it's my deep pleasure to introduce two gentlemen who have been extraordinary leaders in this campaign, as Fran said. To have a campaign of this magnitude, you really need visionary leadership. And this university has been blessed through the years to have that. And the two gentlemen who have headed this campaign up have done a remarkable service to this university and to this city. And it's my distinct honor to introduce one of the co-chairs, a 1956 graduate of the College of Business Administration, Otto Buddick.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I begin the presentation, that comment deserves a response. Each board member, each foundation board, semi-annual board meeting, there's a presentation provided for me to give to the foundation board as to the progress of of the Proudly Cincinnati campaign. And I was reading down, made a mistake in not reading it first, and I was reading down and I saw this word LinkedIn, and I said, what? I said, what the hell is that? And my name is Otto Budding, and I am proudly Cincinnati. Because I'm goal-oriented, I've always believed that you begin every endeavor with an end in mind. And when I agreed to serve as campaign co-chair with my dear friend Buck Niehoff, who you'll hear from in a moment, I envisioned celebrating this successful conclusion. We knew it was a daunting goal, particularly because our original goal was targeted at $800 million, and the previous campaign had simply raised $300 million. It was daunting, but we never doubted, and we never wavered. Everything I am, everything I have become, I owe to this university. So when the request came that I serve as co-chair of the campaign, I accepted without hesitation. And although Buck and I are co-chairs and the strategic leaders of Proudly Cincinnati, as I said this morning in a meeting we had with the staff, it was indeed the staff who really made it happen. That included visionary leadership from the deans and department heads, dedicated faculty, many others across the university. Indeed, our success was made by many alumni in networks across the country: New York, Chicago, Washington, California. The list goes on and on. And I've marveled at the dedication of these alums who, unlike those of us who are here and make our home here, are thousands of miles away from this university, and yet their dedication is so remarkable that indeed fully 1/3 of all the funds raised came from cities outside Cincinnati. These networks will live beyond the date of Proudly Cincinnati and will form the cornerstone for future fundraising activity. And make no mistake about it, private philanthropy will always be a critical need for this university. Quite frankly, I anticipated the goal being reached and then stepping aside and resting, but nothing could be further from the truth. I've come to realize that reaching the objective was not the end, but rather the beginning. I'm also proud to celebrate that this campaign has positioned UC to generate resources needed to offer continuing our students premier education. Buck will allude to this, others will allude to that. One final thought I give with you. Those of us here are immensely proud of the work that has been accomplished. But years, decades from now, when the historians unfurl the pages of UC's history and see what has been accomplished, there will be two words: well done. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Otto. It's now my pleasure to introduce our second distinguished co-chair, Buck Niehoff, who's a 1972 graduate of the College of Law. Buck?
Thank you, Bill. At the event earlier this morning at the foundation, they gave us, Otto and me, these wonderful, elegant billion and beyond hats for Proudly Cincinnati. So I'll put mine on. I'm Buck Niehoff, and as you can see from my hat, I am proudly Cincinnati. President Ono, Chairman Barrett, and my good friend and amazing fundraising partner, Otto Budding, have explained very eloquently what $1 billion means to the University of Cincinnati. And I would certainly underscore everything that they have said. My service to this great university for the past 8 years of this campaign has been an honor and an absolute privilege for me. I feel that I have received much more than I have given. I am humbled to have played a small role in the largest fundraising campaign in the history of our city. Early on, Otto and I stressed the need for the involvement of UC's academic community. we knew that our deans, faculty, and staff could tell the UC story passionately in poignant ways. Having worked with them, I can tell you that our faculty make you want to be part of the dreams that are UC's future. Countless times, it was the stories that they told that inspired a donor to make a contribution. The success of the Proudly Cincinnati campaign says many things about this great university. Perhaps more than anything, our success shows that everyone understands the importance of UC to our community. Every great city has a great university. Cincinnati is no exception, and our successful campaign proves that. You've already heard from Fran about the many philanthropic needs that remain for the university. I would like to take this opportunity to announce a new, nearer-term goal for the balance of the Proudly Cincinnati campaign, which, as we all know, does not end until June the 30th. That new goal is to secure a total of 100,000 donors to the campaign. We are closing in on 92,000. We believe that 100,000 is within our reach. The UC family and its many supporters have always responded to challenges. This one, I think, should be a lot of fun for the next 4 months. Thank you very much.
So Buck, maybe I can borrow that hat. It's getting a little cold up here, and maybe you could help me with it. I'd be remiss, before I introduce our next speaker, not to recognize a couple other people who've been very instrumental in this campaign. The next individual is somebody who actually recruited Buck and Otto to be co-chairs and set the stage for the university and the foundation to successfully successfully reach our goal. He was chair of the UC Foundation at the time. He was once named by Cincinnati Magazine as one of the 5 most influential people in private support in Cincinnati, and he lives in New York. Jeff Williams. We have a couple other people who are here who have played an extremely important role in the campaign. One of our honorary co-chairs, Ellen Revachel, is here. Ellen, would you be recognized? And another one of our campaign co-chairs, Peg Valentine. Peg. Our next speaker is Dr. Katie Short Thompson, who is Dean of the UC College of Blue Ash and Chair of the University of Cincinnati Council of Deans. Katie has been a great friend to the university, to the foundation, and to fundraising. She has brought a level of energy that is exciting and one to be emulated by many. Katie holds 3 degrees from UC, both her bachelor, master's, and PhD from the University of Cincinnati. Katie?
It is indeed a marvelous morning to be at the University of Cincinnati and just to be in Cincinnati. This is really big news. I'm Katie Short Thompson, and I'm a lifelong Cincinnatian, and I'm also the Dean of UC Blue Ash and proudly the Chair of the Council of Deans. And as the Chair of the Council of Deans this morning, I am here to represent all of the Deans of the University of Cincinnati. And on their behalf, I would simply like to offer our most sincere thanks to the enormous generosity that this milestone represents and to the collective effort that it took to reach this enormous goal. Buck and Otto are absolutely right about the unique role of the faculty and the staff in fundraising. And as deans, we see the impact that UC has on our students every day. And we are able to see the impact of private philanthropy in the students who may not have otherwise been able to attend the University of Cincinnati, in the researchers who were afforded the chance to chase important discoveries in their fields and laboratories, in the faculty who were provided with the resources to do their very best work with and for their students in the classroom, and in the facilities that enable their amazing work every day. We are proud to tell these stories, and we fully understand that just like teaching and midterms, experiments and clinicals, exhibits and recitals, counseling, and of course grading, fundraising is an integral part of all that we do. And we have raised way more than just money. We have, by meeting and interacting and forming relationships with our donor community, all of the deans have the great joy of telling our various stories, giving us the wonderful and unique opportunity to celebrate the terrific work our colleagues do every day. And it is those interactions that provide us with valuable information about the needs of industry and the organizations that eagerly await all of our precious graduates. Our relationships and partnerships make us better able to prepare our graduates to succeed and in turn contribute to the success of the companies that employ them. Achieving this milestone this morning really is just a beginning, and the groundwork that we have laid will pay great dividends as we move forward after Proudly Cincinnati ends in June. On behalf of the University of Cincinnati's deans, I would like to conclude by saying that we are truly excited by the challenges ahead, and all of us look forward to playing an important role in advancing the bright and bold mission of the University of Cincinnati. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie. It's now my pleasure to introduce Richard Hartnett. Richard is see if I get this right, Richard, Associate Professor of Political Science and Head of the Department of Political Science. He's a former Fulbright Scholar, which is a tremendous honor, and not only shown honor on himself, but on the university. He's a immediate past chair of the faculty, and I can tell you from the last 2 or 3 years working with Richard, if we could clone Richard and get him to multiply in the hundreds, this university would not only be a finer place, but the students would be equally blessed. Richard's a great asset of the university. Richard Hartnett.
I don't know if my teenage daughter would want 100 of me watching her, but I'll float that by her tonight, Bill. I am Richard Hartnett, past chair of the faculty, and I am Proudly Cincinnati. And I'm proud here today to stand with my colleagues to celebrate achieving this billion-dollar milestone and to add my sincere thanks on behalf of the UC's faculty and staff for the generosity of our donors and the hard work of our fundraising staff and volunteers. We've heard a lot of statistics today, and they're good statistics, but they're not only about money that's been raised, but what it has meant to our students, our faculty, and staff that I want to draw your attention to. These numbers are impressive. They're amazing. But I'd like to add just one more, if you would, a number that illustrates how faculty and staff have recognized the importance of fundraising, the importance of essentially setting examples to support our students. Since the Proudly Cincinnati campaign began, we've experienced a 250% increase in faculty and staff giving. We are all very proud of that growth. In all, UC's faculty and staff have donated $57 million to the Proudly Cincinnati campaign. My takeaway from that, we do not simply work at UC, we truly believe in UC. Aside from that, being donors, working in the classroom, I'd like to echo Dean Short-Thompson's point about our involvement in fundraising itself from the standpoint of telling our collective stories. It would be hard to identify a single faculty or staff member, or a single student for that matter, at UC who has not benefited directly or indirectly from private philanthropy. We appreciate the opportunity to thank donors. It's absolutely critical for their generosity and to share how their gifts are impacting the university and the students that are in our charge. This truly is a university that's on the move. We have exceptional students. We have exceptional thinkers. And as of this morning, I think what we show is that we have built a exceptional support for those endeavors. To turn the phrase, I think Cincinnati should be really proud, as well as Bearcat Nation. And I am proud to be part of this university. Thank you very much.
So one other introduction and one other number I want to give you. We've been blessed in the last 18 months to have extraordinary leadership from an individual who's also chair of the foundation. I think we need to recognize Steve Wilson. So Otto, I just got this off your phone. It's a tweet. I'm sure you've been looking at them. It's actually the number that we have raised as of January 31st, which is $1,004,958,610. So congratulations, everybody. So when you think about campaigns and you think about why we do this, clearly why we do this is we want to support what I consider our most treasured assets, and that's our students. And we've been fortunate to have a great person leading the student body, a very engaged individual who is very passionate about what UC is, but more importantly, what UC can become. And it's my honor to introduce Lane Hart, who's a student body president who is set to graduate in April with a double major in information systems and finance. Lane?
Thank you, Bill. My name is Lane Hart, and I am and always will be very proudly Cincinnati. It perhaps goes without saying that as the prime beneficiaries of this private philanthropy that we experience, the 40,000 strong UC student body that I represent along with other students sends a sincere thank you to everyone involved with Proudly Cincinnati. We live your work every day here where we study and through those who teach and guide us and in the places that we cheer on our Bearcats on the campus that we so enjoy. Thank you so much. It's easy to take all this for granted, and I only wish that every single UC student, current and future, could have the opportunity, really the honor, of being here, right here, today, meeting the people that are responsible, all of you, for this incredible milestone. I am both humbled and honored. As students, we must not only say thank you to our donors, both past and present. That's easy and of course expected, but there's a better way to honor those who have helped to pave the path that we're walking today. President Ono frequently talks about creating a culture of philanthropy here at the university. To me, that means gaining a better understanding of what our responsibilities are as we go on from becoming students to alumni. As students, it's sometimes hard to see past the next lecture or test or project, but it's a lot harder to see what's happening when you get to graduation and beyond. We need to keep in mind those moments, and that helps make our vision here today much, much clearer. I hope that we as a student body can play some small role in making our vision happen here at the University of Cincinnati, and that every alumnus should experience what we're sharing here today and see themselves as the next people celebrating this milestone with us. So thank you so much for your generosity and for leading by example. I'm Lane Hart, and I'm Proudly Cincinnati.
Before I conclude, I would like to give a little shout out to our students at CCM who provided some entertainment for us beforehand. Thank you very much. Well, as you can tell, there's a lot of energy and excitement here at the university, and it's never been a more fun time to be a Cincinnati Bearcat. As President Ono likes to say, we're the hottest college in America, and I can tell you from traveling around the country, our alumni believe that, and they are excited about this institution. Before I conclude, I'd like to add a couple of my own words to think about and explain the genesis of the word Proudly Cincinnati, how we came up with that. These two words, which have really become our mantra, stem from a song that defines the very essence of who we are and who we would like to become and who we aspire to be. And I believe it will continue to serve as our guiding light as we move closer to our bicentennial celebration in 2019. Of course, I'm referring to our alma mater. Now, normally we would sing, but given that, I'm just going to repeat the words and think of each word as you think about it, because it really does define who this great institution is. And it goes like this: "O Cincinnati, magic name, I proudly to the world proclaim. No sweeter word e'er charmed my ear, none to my heart was e'er so dear. A fountain of eternal youth, a tower of strength, a rock of truth. O varsity, dear varsity, thy loyal children we will be. Thy loyal, loyal children we will be." You could never be prouder to be a loyal child of the University of Cincinnati than today, and I'm honored to have been a small part of this campaign. So my name is Bill Mulvihill, and I'm very, very proudly Cincinnati. And I have one housekeeping note. For those of you who are attending our luncheon, it's back through the hallway to the Bower Room, and there'll be name tags and assignments, but we appreciate you all being here. If any of the media would like to talk to any of the speakers today, they will be available here at the front of the podium. Thank you very much for coming.